Hello, my little potato chips. How you doing? It's Paddy from across the shuck. And for my new viewers, my new subscribers, the shuck is just a body of water. It really is. If I get down to the nitty gritty, it's like Americans would call it a little mucky creek, or a little, a shuck is like a bog or whatever. It's just a body of water, and I just use it in its widest form. It's a bit of Irish slang. So. You're very welcome. This is my first and a new series of Sunday Knife Chat. And I really want to run this throughout this whole year. On a Sunday, I'm just going to sit down like I do on a Sunday. I like to, on Sunday, pick a lot of knives that I haven't maybe used for a while, get them out, have a look at them, see what they're looking like. Do they need any oil? Do they need it? And that's what I do on a Sunday. Now, not wholly just maintenance. I get them out just for a fiddle most of the time. So what I'm going to do on a Sunday, I'm just going to pick a topic, and it could be completely random. And knowing me, as I do, I might drift off into other areas. And I probably will on this one. I already know it before I start. So what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about today knife collecting and being a YouTuber. Why people who have more than 20 knives start a YouTube channel. I want to push for more YouTube channel, and I want to push for more channels that are, I'm not going to use the word budget, but are more affordable knives. Let's put it that way, more affordable knives. And that can range from, depending on what your wage packet is, that more affordable will be different. And that's why I want more people, because they think, oh, I can't come in because I don't feel right. I've only got really high-end knives. Nonsense, come in. I can't come in because mine are all budget knives. Nobody wants to see them. Look, the honest truth is about knife collectors out there in the public is there's not that many of them. A lot of people come to our channels just to find a knife that they can use in the price bracket they have, and they can see somebody else who's got it. They weren't sure, so they can see it and they can hear a review. That's probably what more people come to. That's why the people who watch these programs, most of them aren't subscribers. They're just people who've popped in and out. So if you are one of them people, come in and subscribe. And when you subscribe to a channel, what that does, if you hit the bell, do all them things, I don't really promote that, but because people, if they want to find it, they'll find it. But what you get if you come in and subscribe to a channel, the basic simple is you get to see a wide variety of knives in different channels. And if you have that inkling, I fancy getting into this, it gives you a good grounding base of where you can come in, what entry level you are, and then where you can go. And you can go wherever you want, as far as your budget can go. And the one thing that I'll recommend anybody coming in who's maybe not affluent, don't try to leap to the big expensive knives before you've sorted out what you've got in your own budget. Because things will change over time. Not everybody, but sometimes things will change. You'll get a bit more money and you can afford to buy one, two, and it just grows. It's an addictive hobby, but do not take bread off the table to buy a knife. That would be my one bit of advice. Don't take any bread off your family's table to buy a knife, whether it's a cheap knife or a dear knife. That goes right along the line. And being as I am a recovered alcoholic and an addictive personality, I know how easy it is to just delve a wee bit over what you've got to get something that you really, really need. Nonsense. This is not a hobby of need. This is a hobby of collecting. You don't need anything in this hobby. You collect things in this hobby that's within your budget. So there we go. That's a wee paddy lecture. What I've got in front of you today is not traditional knives, which I normally show all the time now. But these are all locking knives. But they're not modern locking knives. There's some very budget knives going down to a couple of pound, £8, 10 to £15. But they're not, and this is about £8 as well. They're sort of AliExpress and very budget old traditional knives. At the back, I have more expensive knives, but there's nothing in this table. All these knives in this table here all the knives would not buy you one Chris Reeves Sebenza. Just one. And I have 9 knives down there. 10 if you include my little one at the back, the new brass Swiss Army knife. So all them 10 knives that you can see on this table will not cost as much as one Chris Sebenza. Now, I've had a Chris Sebenza. I've just recently sold it because I wanted to free up that money to buy more knives that I will use, which is hence I've gone more traditional, but I still have locking knives. You know, I have modern locking knives, I have high super steel locking knives, but if the truth be told, now, this is just me. I live in the UK, so our knife laws are a bit strange. But these are knives that will go anywhere in the world. People who can have locking knives, here they are. So I do have them. And I love them every bit as much. Every bit as much. And I've got every blade steel that I can sort of cobble together here. And not one of them is a super steel. And yet all but one of these knives, which is this tiny little one, sorry, all but two, and the wee Swiss knives, are not what I would call everyday carry. These are wee secondary knives. I got this about 5 years ago on AliExpress, and it's a titanium version, titanium lockback version of a wee, what is it? It's a CRK or Kershaw. It's one of them American company. This is just a knockoff from AliExpress, and they said it was S35VN, which I am absolutely positive is not, because I have used this wee knife. It's sharp as a razor. It's probably 8CR. That's what it is. You know, it's a number steel. But it works as a secondary knife for cutting bits of string, for opening a wee box. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. So, these are not high-end knives. And that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about more is people who have about 20 odd knives and think they're going to, start collecting a wee bit. What I want you to do is start channels. Start channels and join in the conversation. And even if you don't start a channel, become a subscriber to sub channels and then join in the conversation. Leave a comment, say who you are, and you've got about 29 years. Let us know who you are, and we'll chat with you, we'll talk to you. And all the questions that you probably have that you've not had somebody to get answers to, if you're like me, I have no local knife boys. Well, I have one boy that lives about 20 miles away, who I see infrequently, but I don't have anybody close by me who's a knife collector. So if you're in that sort of situation, what better way to get into this hobby is by first becoming a sub of a channel that you like, and it could be 20 or 30 channels that you like, and comment when they put a video up. Do you like the knife? Do you not like the knife? That's where you eventually would like to go, but you're in this genre. Well, go and get that genre of knife or the price that you can afford and sub to a few of their channels, because that's the knives that are going to make sense to you because you can afford, they're attainable. You can go into one of these high-end, and there's so many knife channels now that are very high-end knives that most of them start at £400 and then north. You know, they just go up and up and up. I can't afford them. So most of my channels will be what I can afford, which is sort of higher-end slip joints, which are below £200 most of the times. Like everything else, you can go way up. But most of mine are around that 50 to 150. That's my comfort zone that I've come to learn, because I have gone the other way and I've bought the more expensive knives. And yes, they're beautiful knives. Absolutely beautiful. But I found I wasn't using them because I was too frightened of damaging them, because I did want to sell them on and they're damaged. You take off an awful lot of money. And that's the truth. I did use them all as such, but not enough to warrant buying a super steel titanium. I mean, there's every form of way of making titanium look beautiful or attractive out there. There's so many channels are doing that. What we haven't got is more of the medium range channels and the budget range. There's a few of them, and there's a couple of cracking new ones that are out there now. And when I finish this video, before I upload it, I'm going to put a list of channels that are more budget friendly. No, not budget friendly, affordable friendly, because some of them are not just £8 and £10 knives. Some of them are up to £100 and maybe plus. But they're knives that I watch because it's in that genre. I still love buying an £8 knife. I still enjoy that every bit as much as I do buying a £150, £200 GEC. So I have a really wide range. Not everybody's like that, but I'm like that. But it's taken me 5 years to get to this point in my collecting where I'm confident enough that I've decided I don't want to chase high-end knives, but I want to come down to this level because I'm comfortable at it. And there's nothing wrong with affording high-end knives. Look, I call myself the Hyundai Man. And that was the title of this video. And it's there for a reason. I would love an Aston Martin DB9. I would love one. It's been my favourite car, right from the earliest ones from the DB5s right up. Love them. But I'm on Hyundai wages. My pocket money is Hyundai wages. I drive a Hyundai car. That's the sort of person I am. So to want to spend, £500 plus on a knife, I mean, that's a full service in my car and a set of tyres on a penknife. That's not me. Yes, if things change, and I had a year there where my parents had passed on and I got a bit of money, and that's when I spent it on high-end knives, and I found that in my heart, that's not me. So why try to chase that? I have so much pleasure. I love my GECs. Here's a lovely GEC here, an absolutely beautiful Elkhorn, just a beautiful, beautiful knife. This is in 440C, which is considered just a poor steel now, when it's not. It's a perfectly good, serviceable, easy sharpened, but takes a razor edge steel. And it does my day every day. This will do my EDC every single day. And I'm not afraid to use it. And that's what's making knife collecting more exciting to me, because I'm getting knives now that I'm not frightened of using. That's a lockback. So I can't carry it out in public here, but I can use it around the house. I can use it down my caravan. I can take it if I'm going up to my daughter's house. I'll take it and use it if I'm doing a bit of work or something like that. There's another beautiful little locking knife. You'll find a lot of different blade shapes here because I like the different blade shapes. That's it. I mean, I don't just want drop point knives. There's a drop point, but that's a fixed blade. If I want to do harder work, this is maybe not, but if I wanted to do work that I don't want to use with it, maybe one of my fancy knives, I'll pick this beautiful little knife up. It's a fixed blade. It's as thin as they come, but I'm not afraid to do hard work on it. It's got a good tip. It will do small jobs, although hard use, but it's a fixed blade. So I'm not going to break it, just by doing EDC work on the whole. Oh gosh, I can't get that to sit. These are new wee stands, and I haven't found all the fancy ways of putting them on it. But I hope this is starting to get a pattern. Here's another. I mean, the knives that I like, yes, I like my high end, but they're genuinely more for show. I do use nearly all of them light use. And light use is my EDC. So I don't mean light use as in I cut bits of paper. I'll cut boxes. I'll break down things that I do on a daily basis. But here's a knife here that's a £30 knife. My Carta scales, beautiful big bird's eye. I've been with this company since I nearly started. It's a brother knife. Look at that clip. Is that not just a beautiful knife? And it's a big knife. It's a full, I have a large hand. I can get a full grip. And this is a locking knife. So look at the blade stock on it. This has got 440C again. An absolutely super knife. Will do my EDC every day without fail. If I need more than this, then, do you know what I mean? I've got fixed blades. I've got other knives that I can use to do them heavier tasks. But these are ones that you can carry every day. And like I was saying, £8. This is a copy of a Chris Reeves Menunde. Again, 440C. You know what I mean? It's not a Chris Reeves. It is a blatant copy. It cost me £8 on AliExpress. But it is a very good copy. I have used this knife so many times. It's solid. It really is solid. It's got a super hollow grind. It cost me £8. Now I've had a more expensive Chris Reeve than this, that I've bought and paid for. So I have no fear, I've no guilt in buying this for £8. Yeah, I could never be, I don't pass knives off anyway, but you wouldn't be able to pass that off as a Monunde. Well, I suppose I shouldn't really say that. But I'm buying these for me. I bought that years ago because I wanted to see what it was like. Did I fancy a Monunde? And it's just before I was going to buy my first Chris Reeve. So I decided that wasn't the knife for me. But it's in my collection and I use it. It's a lovely little pocket knife. It really is. And I'm not frightened to do anything because if it snaps, it snaps. Couldn't care. Couldn't care less. But here's one that's another end of the range. This is a Civivi, and you've got a bajillion Civivis. And I am not going to chase down 20, 30, 40, 50, even to show you how good Civivi are. I've got two Civivis. This is one of them. Look at that beautiful clip point, a hollow ground down to a really fine slicing cutting edge. So if you want to do any slicing work, any delicate work, this is the knife for you. And this is in D2. Again, there's no powder steels down here. I don't need them. Do I have them? Yes. Am I glad I have them? Yes. But they're not a necessity. They're not a necessity because the knives I use the most will be something like this. And more than likely it'll not have a lock on it. But I wanted to show that I do have locking knives. There is a place for them in my collection. As any knife collector, you have to have a wide variety. And when you've been about 5 years, you pick up a wide variety, but you can't chase everything unless you've got DB9 money. I haven't. I'm Hyundai Man, and I'm a happy in my skin Hyundai. I feel very grateful to be a Hyundai Man. So I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable in my buying now. I wasn't at first. I came into a hobby that I was very, very new to. And being in the UK, pocket knife carry has not been the most popular thing in the world. I've always had pocket knives, but that's because I'm a bit older. But my children do not, or don't even want to carry a pocket knife. It's not in their generational thing, even though they know I've had them. Oh, well, that's Dad. Dad has them. But my passion is collecting. My passion is sharing my passion with you. So when I get something that, like the Civivi, like the Brother knife, look at this. I got this from a sub. One of my subs gave me this. Look at that beautiful knife. How beautiful is that knife? He had stained the handle on it. It's got a beautiful shiny blade. It's an open L. Very inexpensive. But for me, look at the gloss on that blade and that upswept end on it. That is the most stunning knife. But they're not expensive. But it looks as good. $1 million. If I took this out at a restaurant to cut my steak, how cool is that? How cool is that? And this is in stainless, so I'm not going to get it. If I don't want to mark up the knife, if I want to put it away and it'll look nice for use as the EDC for that day, there's your knife. Wipe it down afterwards. Bit of spit, wipe it down, clean it, put it back in your pocket, use it for the rest of your day, EDC. And you've enjoyed a steak with a lovely looking knife, which is much better than them serrated nonsense steaks that they give you in restaurants. If your steaks are that tough, I don't want to eat them. So this is a locking knife, but very, very inexpensive. Don't look past Open L. Open L, I've got about 4 or 5 Open Ls. They're all fantastic knives. Very, very thin. They're not hard use knives. Very, very thin behind the edge. But you hear all this talk at the minute is how slicey a blade is. And yes, slicing through something with a blade that's got the a very thin behind the edge blade. Slicing with one of those, even through paper, gives me a lot of pleasure. I'll often, when I've sharpened a knife, get a couple of sheets of paper out and I'll do wee curly cues. I'll do all sorts just to use that knife and enjoy that sharp edge that's on a knife. Edge geometry is so important if you want a really good slicing knife. But I would bet you any money, if you want to go and test it, this is let's just say £15, £20. Or dollars, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure they're cheaper than that. But I will put that up against a Shirogorov for sliciness. But Paddy, a sure a Goroff starts at about £6,800. Yeah, but this is as good a slicer. In my eyes, from what I've seen and what I've handled off expensive knives. So for me, why do I need to give up money that could be used in the family to buy a knife that is so expensive that I'm going to be frightened to use in case I break it, chip it, because the resale value will go? Start off with something like that. Work your way up. See if that's where you want to go. Now, I have gone up there and I'm coming back down again. And I'm enjoying coming back down again because I can afford more knives. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's getting to the stage now where the good Spydercos are up near £200 and above because the blade steel. And look, there isn't a big cost for blade steel. Let me just get that out there. But they're harder to get, the batches that they need to make production knives. So they charge more. That's it. Does that, M390, it is a fantastic blade steel. Edge retention's good, as long as it's heat treated right and the geometry is right, and the geometry is the important thing for me, never mind anything else. If that geometry is right, if you want to slice a knife, M390 is fantastic. So's 20CV, and I have those. They're great knives. And if I'm going to do a day's work where I want to take one knife and I know it'll last me all day, I will take that knife because I have the choice. But I don't need to take it. I can take, any old sharpener. It's just that one's at hand. I can take any, whether it's a pen sharpener or a Lansky, throw it in my bag if I'm going to do work. I can take that with me and sharpen it up at lunchtime, and that knife will do me all day. And I'll not give it a second thought. It's easy to do with a steel that are not incredibly tough, hard steels where you need diamonds to cut a new edge. With these ones, the basic ceramics will cut an edge. Stropping will bring a lot of these back at lunchtime. A couple of strops on your leather belt, and it'll bring them back to get you through the day. So, I'm going to cut this now, but I want to know what you think of this series. Would you like me on a Sunday to just pick a topic and just chat? Because I genuinely love this. And if you like it, I'm going to do it every Sunday. Well, I'm going to try and be as disciplined, but if I'm not going to do it, I'll let you know. But I want to do it every Sunday that I can. Let me know down below. That's the wee bit in the description. And if I can just show you, when underneath where this video is and it comes down to the writing of the video, you'll see a wee arrow on the top right-hand corner. If you hit that wee arrow, it drops down the description. And anything that you need to know from the video will usually be in that description. If we're telling you where to buy a knife, it'll be in that description box. And I know I'm doing this for people who are maybe just around, but that's the sort of people I want. I want you to come in. I want you to feel the enthusiasm that we as knife collectors have to do these channels. I mean, I am passionate. You don't make any money. Well, I don't make any money, that's for sure. I put so much more into this channel than I'll ever get out of it. And I don't chase it, but that's my choice. There's a lot of people out there making a fortune. And I think, brilliant. I do. I really think if you can make a living out of doing something, but they're very few and far between, let me tell you. It is a hard topic on YouTube to make money on. You were better looking for makeup. Look for makeup and do makeup. I've tried that. I just don't suit makeup. Sorry, my bell's going and my dog's going mad. But look, I'm going to finish there. It's 20 odd minutes long again. I find it hard to do it less than 20 minutes. But what do you think? I mean, all these steels, there's 1095, 440. There's the Open L 12C27. You've got D2. That's 440C as well. Some of these are 8CR. They're numbered steel, which is usually the lower end of the steel scale. But because they're a lower end steel, doesn't mean they don't cut. And that's what you want from a knife. Don't, at the beginning, chase away up this ladder to try, I have to have that to be part of the team. You don't. What I want is people who have 50 knives out there in their collection. Look, it's too late. You're already a collector. Make a YouTube channel. Let other people see what you collect. You might be completely different than me, or you might have a different way of putting things across than I have, but have exactly the same knives. And that's the joy of it. We all think individually. We all want individually different things. But having the experience of coming in this very budget, going up the ladder where I had very high-end knives, deciding that's not for me, coming back down, and I've even made a mistake at this level because I'm a GEC collector. I decided I need a couple of custom knives to let me see what the custom knives are like at this. So I bought 2 knives, nearly £300. Absolutely super knives. I don't need them. I'm not buying any more because they're no better as a cutting tool than the ones I've got here. They look beautiful. I'm glad I've got them. I'm buying no more. But I'm going to stick to that coming down under £200, but more than likely between 50 and 150. But yes, I will buy the budget because I still enjoy the thrill of getting a new knife. Thank you very much for listening. I hope I didn't go on and preach too much. Probably did because it's Paddy. But love to you all. And I'd just like to say on my Facebook group, or not my Facebook, my Instagram page, my little grandson, who, if you've been following the channel, joined the Navy earlier on last year. It's taken him 7 months to do a 10-week course. He had COVID twice through it. He injured his foot and his toe and had to get his nail pulled off. He was set back 3 major times during his basic training of 10 weeks. 7 months. He was 16 and he's now just on 16 and a half. I find him my role model for somebody who had never left home, never been away from his mum, other than maybe down to the caravan with his granny and his pops. He had never played sport. He's one of these wee boys that was into his gaming on the machines. That was it. And he went and he stuck 7 months, good and bad times, even through, I think, 4 different classes to get through his, and he passed out on Friday. I am the proudest granddad in the world. And for the life lessons that wee boy has learned in 7 months, he'll never forget. He'll never forget. It's the first thing I think in his life that he has done for him. And I am blessed to have him as a grandchild. I love them all. They all are very special in their own ways. But for this week, he is grandchild of the week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.